Imagine this. A man walks into a gas station late one night. Surveillance cameras capture him buying a pack of cigarettes, exchanging a few words with the clerk. He pockets the change, pushes open the glass door and steps into the night. And then he is gone. No trace. No phone calls. No body. No answers. For 20 years, his family would drive by that same gas station, their eyes glued to its neon sign, silently begging for a clue. Then, decades later, demolition crews arrived to tear it down. But as the walls crumbled, workers uncovered something no one was prepared to see: a hidden room, sealed off from the world, waiting to tell its story. It was a humid summer night in 2002 in a small Midwestern town. One of those places where everyone knows everyone, where gossip moves faster than news. Michael Danner, a 34-year-old mechanic, had finished a long day at work. According to his wife, Lisa, he left the house around 10:30 p.m., telling her he was just going to grab a soda and some cigarettes from the gas station a few miles away. That was the last time she ever saw him. At 10:52 p.m., the gas station's surveillance cameras recorded Michael pulling up in his old Ford pickup. He walked in, nodded at the clerk, bought his cigarettes, and then walked out. His truck was later found parked on the side of the road about half a mile from the station. Engine cold, door locked, keys gone. No fingerprints, no signs of struggle, no footprints leading anywhere. Just silence. At first, police thought Michael had walked away from his life. Maybe he was stressed. Maybe he wanted to disappear. But that theory crumbled almost immediately. Michael had no debts, no criminal history, and by all accounts he adored his wife and 2 kids. His bank accounts were untouched, his belongings never moved, and Lisa swore he wouldn't abandon them. Detectives combed the gas station. Employees were questioned, and every regular customer that night was interviewed. Nothing stood out, except one detail. The overnight clerk, a young man named Eddie, admitted something strange. When Michael walked out the door, he never actually saw him get into his truck. The cameras outside, oddly enough, weren't working that night. So what happened between Michael leaving the store and his truck being found? No one knew. And the gas station, a staple of the town, kept operating as if nothing had happened. As the weeks turned into months, the disappearance became small-town legend. Some swore Michael had been kidnapped. Others believed he stumbled into foul play, robbery gone wrong, or a run-in with the wrong people. But one rumor stuck above the rest. Old-timers in the community whispered that the gas station itself was off. They said it had been built strangely, with foundations that didn't quite make sense, and employees came and went too quickly. Customers complained about odd smells in the storage area, strange noises from the back rooms. But without evidence, the police couldn't act. The case grew cold, and the gas station kept serving customers, its neon lights flickering over the empty lot where Michael's life had stopped. Fast forward 2 decades. By now, Michael's children were grown. His wife, Lisa, had moved away, carrying with her the grief of never knowing. The gas station, after years of decline, was finally set to be demolished. Developers planned to replace it with a modern convenience store. The demolition crew arrived early one Monday morning. Machines roared, walls buckled, and decades of memories turned to rubble. But then, something unusual. Behind one of the back walls, workers struck solid concrete where there shouldn't have been any. It wasn't part of the building's blueprints. Curious, they kept digging. What they uncovered was a sealed doorway. A hidden room. One that no one knew existed. The police were called immediately. By afternoon, detectives stood shoulder to shoulder with demolition workers as the sealed space was opened. Inside was a small, windowless chamber, about the size of a storage closet. The air was stale, thick with dust, and it smelled of mildew and something else, something darker. On the floor, there was a chair. A single, rusted chair bolted to the concrete. Beside it lay personal belongings, a lighter, a set of keys, and a watch that Lisa instantly recognized when she was brought in later. Michael's watch. The realization hit like a lightning bolt. For 20 years, Michael had been missing, and all along, a part of him had been locked inside the very building where he was last seen. But that wasn't all. There were scratch marks on the wall. Deep, frantic scratches, as if someone had tried to claw their way out. The discovery reignited the investigation. Who built the hidden room? Why was it sealed? And most importantly, was Michael ever alive inside it? Records revealed something startling. The gas station had changed ownership multiple times, but one name kept surfacing. The original owner, Harold Klein. Harold had a reputation. Locals described him as quiet, almost too quiet. He'd been arrested in the 1980s for assault, though charges never stuck. Employees recalled that he was obsessed with controlling the building, forbidding them from accessing certain areas. By the time Michael vanished, Harold had already sold the station. He died in 2010, never questioned in connection to the disappearance. But the secret room bore his fingerprint. Literally, when forensic teams tested the chamber, faint prints matching Harold's old records were found on the concrete walls. The horror was unavoidable. Harold had constructed a chamber within his own gas station. A trap. And Michael had been its victim. For Lisa and her children, the discovery was bittersweet. They finally had answers but not closure. Michael's remains were never found inside the chamber. Only his belongings, the scratches, and the silence he left behind. Some investigators theorized Harold may have moved Michael's body later. Others suggested Michael might have been held there temporarily, then taken elsewhere. What was certain, however, was chilling. Michael never left that gas station alive. The secret room was his prison. The story spread quickly, hitting headlines across the country. The gas station became a symbol of horror. How evil can hide in plain sight. How an entire community can drive by, buy gas, sip coffee, and never know what secrets lie just behind the walls. For locals, it was more than a tragedy. It was a betrayal. The very place they trusted for daily needs had been a chamber of nightmares. Today, nothing remains of the building. A sleek, modern convenience store stands where the old station once loomed. But ask anyone in town and they'll tell you, you can still feel it. That unease, that silence, that memory of the night Michael Danner walked out the gas station door and disappeared. And how, 20 years later, the truth was waiting sealed in concrete, whispering from the dark. Sometimes the scariest monsters aren't hiding in the shadows. Sometimes they're hiding right in front of us, inside the walls we pass every day. Michael Danner's disappearance wasn't the story of a man who vanished. It was the story of a secret so dark, it took 20 years of silence before it could be heard.